what's up guys? It's Roodslay here, back again with another fun Legacy League content video for you. I'm actually here today with my good friend, Psy, the Shallow Grave.
Yo, what up?
And we're actually gonna run you guys through a couple leagues of Legacy with a couple new Reanimator versions that we want to try. So Psy has actually been testing a show and tell Smog variant that he's been absolutely crushing with. And yeah, me and him are just going to run through a league and we'll see how it goes today. And what we're going to do is actually Psy is going to take over. He's going to give a quick deck tech and go over some of the card choices that he's doing today.
Yep, so we've got what's essentially the core of the mono black Reanimator deck is intact. You know, you have your standard 4 therapies, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Unmask, 4 Animate Dead, 4 Shallow Grave, 4 Entomb, 4 Dark Writ, 4 Reanimate, and 4 Petals, the usual suspects. One of the things of note in this list is 61st card, Chromux. That may or may not stick around. I've been liking it a lot currently, for the purpose of helping power out show and tell mana post board, and also for a little more consistency going off with Grizzlebrand when you're drawing cards and looking for that pivotal black mana pip to start your train of rituals and entombs and whatnot.
That makes a lot of sense.
The mana base, also pretty standard, except we're at 15 lands over the usual 14. Again, this is good for getting to your 3 mana or more to play around days for show and tell. But also I find that one of the things that I lose to the most when I pilot this deck is actually having to mulligan really deep because of hands that don't have lands in them, or that only have a tap land in them. And I've found that I've been able to mitigate that a lot with the 15th land. And the deck has access to like 2 flex slots oftentimes anyways, so just dedicating one of those flex slots to a land has actually helped a lot with consistency. We're running 7 fetches, 3 basics, 2 bayous, 1 underground sea, and then 1 of each color of surveil land. And then the sideboard. This is the bread and butter of the Smog and Tell list, is your standard Chain of Smog combo alongside show and tell. And we're not playing the full 4 spoils, which is something that Rude and I have talked about quite a bit. And the reason I think that we can get away with only 3 in this list is because with both Chain of Smog combo and show and tell, your opening hands generally always have either an A plus B or 2 different A's, and you just need to draw either of your B's. You're a lot less reliant on spoils to find a combo. So I think that's why we can kind of get away with running 3 in this list.
Sounds really good. So the extra mana sources are essentially because of how much higher the curve is, more or less.
Yeah, post board you're citing in 8 2-drops and 4 3-drops.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hitting the mana is super crucial. Also with show and tell, we were running the like Smog Gambit lists for a little bit, and that's something where like it's 2 mana is a lot less than 3 mana in Legacy, and especially in a deck like Reanimator.
Especially the fact too that because it's blue, you can't just ritual it out either. Like you need to have land plus petal or ritual or something.
Yeah, there's a real cost to it. But that being said, casting show and tell on turn 2 with a dark ritual, you are playing around days. You're getting to cast a Thoughtseize first, maybe. And the trade-off being that like you don't have to clear your opponent's hand like you do with Gambit. There's serious pros and cons to playing both. I think that I really like show and tell in the current meta with a lot of like blue-black Reanimator and Tempo and Oops running around. And show and tell feels a lot more consistent into those decks when they might be holding Fairy Macabres, Brazen Borrowers, stuff like that in hand, that you have to be concerned with.
Makes sense. And one thing I was noticing, especially with the Gambit list, is when you run into those blue-black Tempo matchups, they could hold like a Tameo or a Bowmaster in their hand and just decide not to deploy it and you're basically screwed, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a very real pro, I would say, to the show and tell, is that you don't care if they're holding a Bowmaster or whatnot in their hand.
Yeah, you're trading off that extra mana just for the extra like consistency.
Makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else you want to go over with the list before we jump in?
No, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered anything. If you have additional questions, viewers, we have a comment section.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, we will see you for round 1. Here, guys, for round 1. And I just realized that you actually do not have a land.
I do not. In my 15 land Chromox deck, I do not have a land.
How are we feeling about that? We're on the draw, though, aren't we?
We are on the draw, yes. I do believe that we are most likely playing against Oops All Spells. So being on the draw likely won't matter, but we should look for, I think, a better hand than this anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. Opponents on Oops, that's unfortunate.
This one's not much better.
No. Ugh, are we supposed to go to... I feel like we have to go to 4, right? I mean, I guess...
This hand is kind of interesting on 5 because we do theoretically have the ability to go like Surveil Land, Chromox, Reanimate something.
It feels probably not great though.
That's leaving a lot to chance. I would go to 4 here, but it's worth noting that there is the possibility. Like if this were a 4, we could do something with it.
Yeah, I think okay, this is by far the best hand we've seen, I think.
Still not good, but I do not think that we can keep
Unmasking.
I don't think we can afford to keep Unmask. Yeah. So it's looking like probably we keep the Petal and we just hope to like rip a creature off the top. If it was anything besides Oops, I would say keep the Surveil Land. But I think we have to like keep a hand that tries to win on turn 1.
Yeah, I think you keep Petal too, because worst case scenario, if they Thoughtseize the Petal, we could still draw land and Thoughtseize them back.
So you were thinking the last card bottom being the Sewers?
What were you thinking?
That was what I had in mind, so that like theoretically say we get a turn, if we top deck a creature, we get to do something. If we get Thoughtseize, they take the Petal, and then we do what we can on 4.
Unfortunately, this is a matchup we are not spec'd for.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, we're getting therapy.
Oh, okay. Well, dude, 100%. How much do you want to bet right now? They are 100% whiffing. There's no way that they're naming any of the cards that are in our hand.
I don't know. I don't know. My name is Shallowgrave. Name's Dark Ritual.
No! All right, I bite my words. Wow, is he just gonna kill us? Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Ooh, that was a good draw.
Well, there's one option here.
Yep. I guess
I'll play out the Petal and pass.
Yeah, there you go. I bit my words that he actually named Ritual. I thought for sure he was going to name either Reanimator or Entomb. On a mulligan to 4, I think you almost should name Entomb, no?
I feel like I would name Entomb if I was sitting across from me.
Oh, okay.
All right, well.
We're getting
this
closer.
Is the battle of the top decks now. If only we still had that Ritual. Not a great draw.
It's okay. Unmask gets us there now.
Yeah. All right, okay. Still no...
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's a hell of a draw. All right, so if we fade one more turn, I think we have this game won.
Don't forget that they can... hold on. So... Ooh. Okay, so...
Thoughtseize. They have Pact and one unknown in hand, so we're gonna entomb in response.
Yeah.
If they have reanimate, they have reanimate. It's correct to entomb here though.
Oh, 100%.
And grab a Grizzlebrand.
Oh, if they have reanimate, we're dead anyway, right? Because they just take the Grizzlebrand anyway.
If they have reanimate, they just reanimate their informer and then win the game.
It would have been interesting.
So what we lose to now is if they have
Spirit Guide,
Memory's Journey. If they have Memory's Journey in hand.
I was thinking Spirit Guide because they could Pact and Negation us.
That too, actually. But
yeah, we just jam, obviously. Ooh.
And we've got our Grizzlebrand, so Lotus Petals and lands looking pretty good. Let's see if we can find another Entomb, Shallow Grave. There's an Entomb, no Shallow Grave. But we have Reanimate, and this looks like lethal with Borb to me. They're at 15, they take 7 down to 8 life.
Very, very lethal, actually, because, Borb is minimum, 12 damage here? No, 9?
Yeah.
No, 12, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15, actually, if we just use the Dark Ritual and the Lotus Petal.
I think we should still strip the Pact out of their hand in case they do have the Spirit Guide and they get smart.
Yeah. Pact. Well, it was pretty unlikely that we win this game 1, but we did somehow, so...
Oh, what? What a way to start the video.
That's so funny.
That's too much.
All right,
and
we'll
Borb,
grab our...
right off the rip, too, Borb is just showcasing its utility here of why you should always play this card.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of Borb doubters amongst the Reanimator community, and it seems like there's a lot less nowadays.
I'll be the first one to admit, I was like the last one to convert, but he's in all my lists now.
Really strong card, lets you win through a lot of situations that you wouldn't otherwise. Beating Bridge, beating One Rings, beating Veil of Summers, all that good stuff.
So talk me through how you want to board this matchup. I feel like we probably want the full pivot, knowing they're on Leyline most likely. All right, did you actually look up their list?
So their last list, and I want to go through how we would just in general sideboard against Oops. And their last list does play Leyline of the Void. Most Oops lists do play Leyline of the Void. Some don't, but I don't think that you can really like gamble on that.
Right.
Even when you go to game 2 and you see their deck, if you lose game 2, a lot of times they won't board in the ley lines when they're on the play. They'll board them in game 3 on the draw.
I've noticed that a lot too.
But what we're going to do, I think, what I actually like to do is I take out Archon of Cruelty in this matchup.
Okay, that's interesting. Some builds do run the mono black aggro pivot.
I feel like even versus those builds, we don't super need the Archon. I find that it's actually more of a liability sometimes, because sometimes you just unlock reanimate hands for them to win. Like, this is generally the 15 that I take out, is the 4 Entombs, 4 Shallow, 4 Animate Dead, 2 Archons, and a Borborygmos, so that I can continue to play the full 4 Reanimates. This doesn't matter so much on the draw, but on the play, sometimes you can just win the game on turn 1 if they have a hand that has a Spy or an Informer and does not have a Spirit Guide for Memory's Journey.
Makes sense. Now, is there ever a world on the draw, because show and tell is obviously very expensive, that you just want to bring in 3 of them for like a single Entomb?
It's certainly possible. There's also a world where I maybe just don't want to sideboard at all in game 2 because they might not bring in Leyline. They might be looking for a hand that wins the game on turn 1. So if they get unlucky and can't find a turn 1 hand, a lot of times they're just going to Thoughtseize you and pass.
That makes sense.
Sometimes there's an argument to just not board for game 2 and just look at their deck.
I like the pivot you have.
Another reason why I don't love the Archons is just because it doesn't win you the game on the spot, and a lot of times if you go turn 1 show and tell an Archon, they discard some useless card, untap and kill you.
I like this hand. I feel like we're probably keeping it, right? But I almost want to wait a little bit to keep it, just so they think that we're having a hard decision about whether or not to keep this.
Yeah. I think that this is a reasonable hand on the draw. We're not really expecting to win this game. We would love to steal it like we did with game 1.
I do like the fact they're mulliganing.
Yeah. The mulligan's great. I would love to see the mulligan to like 4 or something.
So realistically, have we waited long enough, you think, to press the keep button?
I think so. And why do we wait? Why do we tank on the keeps, Rude?
So basically, tank keeping there, it's entirely a mind game. You want to make them think that your decision was difficult.
Makes sense to me.
Are they gonna Voidwalker us? Or they just have it? They only have 2 mana, but
2 mana, 2 cards in hand.
I mean, I guess if the last 2 cards are just like Ritual Spy, we're dead, but
I feel like they would have started with Dark Ritual if they had it, because they exile a Spirit Guide to Cabal Ritual.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
They take spoils. They play Jack-O-Lantern. What's happening here?
Wow. We have to be 90% favored to win from this spot.
I'm curious why they took spoils and not the show and tell.
So what are we thinking now? Do we want to surveil? Like, do we even want to discard them? So let's like worst case scenario of what happens. They have Dark Ritual and the Informer, right? But if they had Informer, they obviously would have played it.
Yeah.
This
I'm trying to think what their hand could possibly be.
This feels like a surveil to me, but I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to just surveil here. That being said, there's not like a super downside to thought seizing because we still have the ability to show and tell on turn 2.
I was thinking more we want to give them an opportunity to draw gas.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because, like, let's say
let's
that
they're surveil.
Yeah, let's say their last card in hand's like Belcher or something like that. Then we would want them. We definitely don't want that. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes if they're constrained on mana, that it's better to let them draw a card or 2 before you actually thought seize them.
Yeah, they do have a redraw with this Jack-O-Lantern, which is important to note.
All right, let's see if we can rip it. Not
quite.
Not the best draw, but not horrible.
But we can go ahead and seize now and see what they're cooking with over here. Poxwalkers and Reanimate. So it feels like a pretty easy take Reanimate to me. I don't really think we care about taking the Poxwalkers.
I think we definitely don't want to take the Poxwalkers because then they can just either Reanimate it if we take it, or they could draw like Therapy or something to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously taking the Reanimate here. I meant also taking the Poxwalkers. I'm not sure that we want to also take the Poxwalkers. I think we just leave that in their hand for now.
I think it's the same thing that we were talking about earlier, is like we want to save our discard for when they draw gas.
Yeah. Because now we have the opportunity to thought seize and show and tell in one turn. So we have a lot of good draws here.
Ooh! Woo! I summoned it. You're welcome. Now, do we want to take the Poxwalker?
I actually don't think that we do. I think I want to leave this mana open.
Okay, that's fair.
Just for because we're gonna draw 14 here.
I was gonna say pretty high likelihood they're probably dead here.
Yeah. And I think by leaving this land open, we're maybe more likely to just win the game with our Smog combo now. I don't think the Poxwalkers matters. Even if we draw 14 and then don't win the game, we don't even have to chump with the Grizzlebrand because we'll be at 4 life.
No, that makes sense.
All right, and they just scoop it up.
All right, guys. So, hey, we have officially won round 1, and we will see you for round 2. Here we go, round 2.
All right. Round 2.
Looks like we're at the
Damn.
turn 1 Gristlebrand party.
That's the party that I like to be at. What about you?
So if they're like Blue-Red Delver, we can go to cleanup and turn 2 them with protection. Or if they're like taxes, we could turn 1 Goldfish. Do we know what they're on? Have you Googled them or no?
They're likely bug beans.
With endurance?
Uh, their most recent list does not have main deck endurance.
So they have Bowmaster though, huh?
They do have Bowmasters.
I don't know.
However,
Are you still feeling a cleanup phase here is in order?
I kind of think it is.
I do too.
I feel like there's just a lot to be gained from being able to discard the Grizzlebrand for free and then be able to thought seize them and play around days is pretty big.
So the only way we get punished by this play is if they did not have Force of Will, they only had days. Then we get punished by this line because they could potentially Bowmaster us, but I think it's probably still correct to do this.
I think so too. This deck is all about risk reward, and I think that this is the highest risk reward play. All right, we're not getting Bowmastered, so that's great.
I like that brainstorm a lot for us. That feels like a panic brainstorm.
So now all we really lose to is double force, and we don't even lose to that, we just get set back. Oh, there's a Mox Diamond. Okay, maybe we will get Bowmastered. Or maybe they'll play Beans.
I guess we'll find out, huh?
Oh, this is not Bug. This is Bant, it looks like.
What are we up against? Ooh.
Life from the Loam. Okay, so they have a 6-card hand with 3 lands in it.
Okay, so I guess we just play out the petals in case they have double days, but I doubt they do.
Yeah, I think we're very likely going to have a Grizzlebrand here.
I agree.
Oh, they've got a lot of nothing. So they have a Verdict that they could use next turn.
Is it
They
weird?
could 4th Earling this for 2.
Is it weird that I'm almost more scared of the 4th? Because, like, so we're gonna... Thoughtseize is gonna put us to 17. Reanimate's gonna put us to 9, and then... we'll be at 2 when this is all said and done. Which card are you more scared of? The 4th or the Verdict?
So things could go wrong either way here.
I guess we could block the 4th.
Yeah, with the 4th, if they 4th, we have a Grizzlebrand in play. The most they can 4th for is 2, which at point they don't have a plow or anything. So we're blocking 1, we're gaining 7 life. They get the initiative, we get it back next turn plus another 7 cards. With the Verdict, however, the Grizzlebrand dies, we don't gain any life. We're going to be at 2. Future reanimates are shut off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Verdict.
Yeah.
Because we're banking on this 7, so...
And we also have a mana open. So, like, any combination of, like, Dark Ritual... Thoughtseize isn't a good draw. Unmask is fine.
So
we don't have another reanimation spell, but...
I think we definitely want to take the 4th.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you, because... So, do we have enough mana to play Gristlebrand out of our hand next turn?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will have 8 black mana if we keep both of our Dark Rituals. So we could play Gristlebrand out of our hand or play Archon.
I feel like we actually might want Archon, because if they deal with this Gristlebrand, we're not going to have any life.
Another thing that we could do here is just exile the Entomb to unmask.
Yeah, that's
kind of... And keep both the Archon and the Grizzlebrand as backup.
I kind of like just exiling the Gristlebrand. I'm not really certain we're ever going to need it at this point. Like, if they answer the one in our hand, or in play, I mean, then I don't think playing a second one is really as helpful as Archon anyway.
That's fair. I feel like it's between these 2 cards for which you exile to unmask.
I agree.
And I am perfectly fine with exiling Grizzlebrand with this Archon in our hand.
Yeah, and then we can play out the pedal.
And then look at that. We get to keep our 7-card hand.
Very good.
So their hand is Uro and some lands. 1 Wasteland and 2 Flooded Strands.
Very interesting deck.
Looks like casting Uro. That's great for us. They put their Flooded Strand into play. 2 unknown cards in hand. Did they find a Plow? Plays the other Flooded Strand.
They're not Whirlwind slamming it.
Say it again?
I said they're not Whirlwind slamming it by any means.
That is true. Let's see what happens when we go to combat. I like having this other unmask.
So I guess we probably just... do we want... I mean, what are the chances they have Bowmaster? They've already shown us red.
I feel like Bowmaster's is pretty unlikely, but I feel like with another Grizzlebrand draw available and a cast Archon, I think we can safely pitch the Entomb now.
Yeah, I agree.
Just check for any shenanigans before we click on this Grizzlebrand.
He definitely has something.
It would be. I kind of almost think that there might be a Stifle in his hand.
I'm like honestly leaning towards Bowmaster, as weird as that sounds. Oh, Brainstorm.
A Brainstorm. Okay.
Interesting.
Weird that we didn't brainstorm immediately to try and find an answer to this Grizzlebrand.
Should we have Lightning Bolt on our radar or no?
I think that's unlikely, but it's not impossible. Force of Negation on the Unmask. Pitching Force of Will. Alright, 1 card left in the deck. I think I'm going to cast this Archon and then clear their last card. Then we can draw our 7.
Yeah. Do we even want to draw the 7?
Well, it depends. We might not need to. But it's kind of free, I think, because we'll be at 12 life from the Archon, so we'll be going down to 5. We could also just wait.
I guess the only card that we... Oh, I just realized something that's really, really bad here.
What's that?
We might have actually just punted, so... They almost certainly have a Mystic Sanctuary in their deck.
If they...
I guess if
Mystic Sanctuary...
Yeah. Then we draw a fresh 7, I guess.
Well, I think if they Mystic Sanctuary the Supreme Verdict... You're afraid of them Mystic Sanctuarying the 4th? Because we don't die to that.
No. The Supreme Verdict, yeah. But I guess that we still get a fresh 7, but... Just something that I just now realized. Let's see if they're heads up about it.
If they do, we know that their hand's empty. They cast Verdict, we draw our 7. And then if we draw Shallow Grave, we just stack the Archon on top when they both die. What are they going for? They go for the Verdict. Okay. So as long as we don't whiff terribly on this draw 7.
I definitely would rather be us than them in this spot.
Yeah.
Oh, we just make sure we draw here.
There's a Shallow Grave, we win the game.
Yeah, we're good.
Grizzlebrand first, then Archon. Doesn't really matter. We have so much gas.
I did sniff that out, though.
You did. That was a good thing to have on your radar.
I've gotten blown out by these decks enough with the 1 of Sanctuary just to be like so aware of it now. All right.
And something important. I don't know if you noticed, but but we did not show our opponent Underground Sea in that match.
I know that was good. So
they
I guess
they can easily look up like my most recent lists that have been published and see, but it's good that at least within the gameplay we didn't put show and tell on their radar.
I agree. Yeah, Borb obviously seems like a pretty easy cut here. Do you go down to 1 reanimate, or do you go up to 61 with 2 reanimates? I guess actually, no, you probably want to cut Chromox, right, in this matchup?
That's the funny thing, actually. This is a 61 card deck, so we only have 2 cuts left to make.
Oh, okay, yeah. True.
And yeah, versus this kind of slower deck, Chromox is a good cut, and then like 1 reanimate down to 3 is pretty safe. So we have our usual suspects, these 12 cards coming out pretty much every time we bring in the full juke, and then for this slower matchup, we're taking out Borb, which is bad against the exile-based removal, Chromox, which is we don't need to go fast, and then trim our 1 reanimate.
Makes sense, and if we needed truly to have another cut, I guess Petal would be the cut.
I actually don't like cutting Petals, like, basically ever.
Ooh,
this hand
is the nuts.
So giga cranked.
If every 7 that we draw could just look exactly like this.
All right, turn 1, Graveyard Hate. Turn 1, Grafdigger's Cage. Show it to me.
Nope, even better. Actually,
okay.
No, it's not as good as...
So we're going to sequence this land, then Petal. We're going to cast Dark Ritual. And hopefully they don't counter the Dark Ritual. If they do, it's fine.
Honestly, one of my teammates, you're quite familiar with him, Hammerfist. Every time I play against him, I swear to God, he snaps off Force of Will on my Dark Ritual. Oh, there it is.
Well, that's fine with me.
I mean, we're still in a really good spot, obviously, but that actually was the correct line for him. He was dead if he didn't do that.
Yeah, but Force pitching Force there is pretty decent for us, I think.
What does that tell us? That their hand is just all white cards?
Or that they were trying to make sure nothing happened before they played the Soul Guide Lantern.
If they had that in their opener, very interesting they didn't lead on Soul Guide over Tamiyo.
It's possible that they just wanted to get the Tamiyo going, and they said, I have 2 forces in my hand, I'm fine.
Ooh.
Unmask is an incredible draw here.
What are we pitching? Just
because now we can pitch our... I think we pitch the Thoughtseize.
You think so?
And keep the Witherbloom in our hand.
Yeah. I was thinking if
they only have 2 cards in hand.
Yeah, and if they have Veil, then it is what it is. They would still need to have Force plus whatever. Keep in mind, they can draw off the Soul Guide.
Yeah. Well, what would you pitch here? Would you pitch the Thoughtseize or the Apprentice?
I feel like I personally would probably pitch... I don't know. It's like 50-50. I'll let you make that judgment call. I could see a pitch to either one.
They have Veil. So their hand has been pretty insane.
Yeah, now I think you just jam though. I'm actually not worried about days. Yep.
Well, it resolves.
Okay.
This is pretty good.
I mean, so options here. We could just pass, so we don't have to discard a bunch of cards. We already made our land drop, right?
We did, yes.
So the only way we can actually kill them here is we would have to rip, like, Ritual. No, it's very unlikely we win from here.
Yeah, I think in this situation, I like just passing. If they have, like, a plow over the Grizz, then we just draw in response.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, too.
As for what card we're discarding...
Probably just the Mortuary?
I think it's probably the Mortuary. I think I like keeping the Grizzlebrand around as both a black card for Unmask as well as if we find another show and tell off this Grizz. They bend another Veil of Summer.
They're like, they're not going to be discarding me anymore. Opponent, well, what do you know?
Surely not with 7 cards in hand and 14 more on the way.
So they desperately need to find a plow here. It's like plow or bust for these guys.
Definitely. Shuffles their library. Wasteland.
What's this?
Taps the Wasteland. Chooses not to. I think they were thinking about flipping Tamiyo and decided not to.
Oh, good call. Yeah, maybe.
So they have 1 card in hand. I think I'm going to send it with the Unmask again and keep my mana open as much as possible.
What are you thinking of pitching? Just Thoughtseize?
I think if they had plow, they would have plowed. I think they have something else in their hand.
It's a fair assessment.
I kind of want to pitch the extra Grizzlebrand.
Okay.
They have a Force of Will. I think I want to draw before attacking.
Yeah, makes sense.
And see what our hand looks like. Because they have
Ooh.
2 redraws. So we have a win here.
Problem is they could draw into a plow.
They could. We have the ability to play 2 apprentices, though. So I think I want to attack them.
Draw again?
Yeah. Potentially. Okay, so this is great, actually. They're using their resources now. If they had plow, they would have used it there.
Yeah, now I think they're probably dead.
Yeah, we'll strip this last card before we go for our apprentices. We'll just get rid of one of these extra Thoughtseizes. It's a Boseiju. All right, so they get 1 more draw, and they have to tap all their mana. It can't be Force of Will, and we can play around days. So we should be pretty safe here to just Dark Writ, cast Apprentice, cast Chain of Smog, win the game.
I like it. Really powerful display of the juke so far in this league.
Soul Guide Lantern, eat your heart out. All right, and that puts us at 2-0 in the league.
All right, you love to see it. So, guys, we're 2-0, and we will see you for round 3. All right, guys, here for round 3. And what are we up against?
Seems very likely to be Dimir Reanimator.
We're on the play, huh?
We are on the play, yeah.
I feel like every time
tough.
Yeah, I feel like every time I keep these hands against Reanimator, it's either just like the greatest hand ever that you've ever seen, or it does nothing. There's like no in between.
Yeah. I think that if this exact hand had a second land in place of like one of these animate deads, I would be pretty in on it. I think that this, because we're probably going to need to surveil, having 1 land and being soft to wasteland is pretty.
So I guess the
harsh.
other option is we could open on just like basic swamp and Thoughtseize them, and we have a lot of top decks that get us there.
And I do like keeping 7s when possible in this matchup.
This hand,
assuming that's what our opponent is playing.
Yeah, this hand is just like not good though. Is the problem.
I think we can probably do better.
I agree. I feel like that hand is close. That's probably about... Oh. Okay, this is definitely... Ooh. Still missing 1 black card? Oh, wait, no, it's
Unmasked.
Not. Yeah. I think we send it.
Oh yeah, this is a send it, and then if they have Force Soul plus Reanimate, it is what it is. We go to the post board. I think that this matchup and this version of the deck specifically is actually better post board versus Blue Black Reanimator than
100%, because you're no longer relying on binning your guys for them to steal. I don't like the pause.
All right, do we have a Grizzlebrand? They mulligan to 6.
Oh,
we have a Grizzlebrand.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and draw immediately. See if we can find an unmask or something. We don't.
Okay, so we have
normally
to be.
This is where we
yeah.
would. Yeah.
We
normally this
really
is where you'd be
careful.
like, "Yay!" I get to.
I think it's a pretty easy
We're not going to do
mortuary
that. Yeah. We are not going to let them free roll a reanimate.
Okay.
And they concede, so we go to post board.
So we're putting them on blue black.
We received no information there, but that's not true. We didn't receive no information. They mulliganed to 6. We made a turn 1 Grizzlebrand. They took a draw step and conceded. What that tells me is they're not a opposing fast combo deck. They're more likely a fair deck. And given the information we have, they are most likely going to be on Blue Black Reanimator. And this is how I sideboard against Blue Black Reanimator. I pull the full 15 cards in. I trim Borborygmos. I also trim 1 Archon.
Interesting. I do like Archon in this matchup.
I like having access to an Archon for sure. I don't like Archon in matchups where my opponent discarding a card of their choice could be advantageous.
Yeah,
I guess is the best way to put it. I do like Chromox in this matchup.
Yeah, it's not bad. You want to leave all 4 of your reanimates in if you can, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the question now is, how many are we down to? 60. So are you sure you don't want to take out the Chromox?
It's possible. I may. The thing is, I made sideboard mapping for this matchup prior to playing the Chromox. So it would just look like this. It was a 60 card deck, but I would play 61 because I wanted 4 reanimates.
I feel like it's definitely correct to have 4 reanimates in this matchup.
We can. I think the only thing that I want to trim here is the Chromox. I like having access to it, but I don't think I like it more than playing 62 cards. Like I don't think I want to play 62 cards for the Chromox, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
If I was a 60 card deck, I would run 61. All right, we are on the draw. We have an interesting hand here. It's not amazing.
I think it's like a keep though. So you're 1 Chain of Smog away from them just being dead. You have 3 discard spells. Yeah, if they have turn 1 Thoughtseize, like, we're probably just dead, but I don't know. I think I would be leaning more towards keeping this than shipping it.
I will generally keep any functional 7 in this matchup. We're probably getting Thoughtseize here. I feel like the play pattern is usually, whoa, that's a tropical island.
Oh, we're very happy about
so
that.
we are not up against Blue Black Reanimator. That's actually fantastic.
That is good news.
Cabal Therapy, not an amazing draw.
So do we want a Thoughtseize here, or do we rather Surveil? Chances are they might have Wasteland anyway, so like surveilling might just be bad. I kind of like Thoughtseizing now. Maybe getting a Veil out of their hand.
I definitely want to discard them in some way here before they untap with the screen mana.
Play the Petal.
I feel like there is an argument, I think, for actually unmasking with 2 more discard spells in hand so that we can still get the surveil value.
So here's my only thing, right? Is because, like, let's assume that they are a Wasteland deck, which I'm assuming they are. If we unmask them now and we top deck chain exactly next turn, we actually, if they top deck like any counter spell, whether it be Daze, Force, whatever, we actually won't have a protected win next turn, is the only issue.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, definitely, and that's a huge consideration. I actually did consider that.
That's
It's
kind
just the problem is that the surveil value is so high, and we don't actually know what they're playing.
yeah, I mean,
So they might not even be a wasteland deck. This could be Omnitel.
I could see an argument for both lines. How are you feeling then? Do you want to just unmask and surveil, or would you rather Thoughtseize here?
I think my gut in this situation is actually saying to unmask.
Okay.
If this is Omnitel, I actually might even just play out the Witherbloom Apprentice if it's safe. Let's see what they say to this unmask. If they force this unmask, I will just Thoughtseize them. Alright, so Sultai stuff?
Sultai Beans, probably.
Yeah. So with 2 discard spells in our hand still, I feel like I would want the Brainstorm in this spot. What's your assessment of this hand?
Yeah, 100% Brainstorm. I don't even think it's close, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah. I'm actually not going to play out the Petal because of Witherbloom Command.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. So they probably are a Wasteland deck, though. Maybe not, though. I think we're surveilling. I think we just need to have the draw here.
Yeah.
Unfortunate
I
that they
agree
had
with that.
double interaction, though. I kind of like land.
I also like land.
I think you keep it, right? Like it allows us to potentially discard and kill on the same turn.
So the reason why I'm not sure I want to keep this land is because we also could just naturally draw land after bending this, but we could also draw more action. And if we draw, say, a show and tell, then all of a sudden we have instead of 7 live top decks, we have 12 to 15 that we can play with like Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize them, play show and tell. I think bending this gives us more live outs if we don't win the game in the next turn or two.
Maybe. I was just thinking, like, if you keep it, it makes your discard so much better, though. Because, like, you're able to discard and then also potentially kill them, you know? But,
Yeah.
I
But imagine our
I
next card's a fetch land. I would
yeah.
way rather have a fetch land than a swamp.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. There
I'm
could
gonna go
very
ahead and bend
well
this.
be 2 lands on top. I could see an argument for both. I could definitely see an argument for keeping that.
All right. So now we have Show and Tell, Spoils of the Vault, and Chain of Smog as live top decks. And I want to probably Therapy the Force of Will and leave Thoughtseize for a combo turn.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully they drew a force.
Well, they have a force in hand. Oh, they drew another Brainstorm.
That's
So that makes
very
this trickier
unfortunate.
now. Yeah.
Well, there's no way they're getting rid of the Fatal Push. Will the Swamp open? Or maybe they will. It's like a game of chicken.
I feel like Fatal Push is probably the more likely thing for them to keep in hand.
I'm just thinking, like, let's assume that they're very smart and they put exactly the 2 cards back that we know about. Then we want to just be naming a blind card here, like Ponder or something, maybe? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, it's pretty likely here that if they're smart, they're going to put the force and the fatal push back, right?
Yeah, and then there's this whole other layer of mind games that happens in therapy. It's like, oh, they're going to expect me to put those cards back, so they're not going to name them, so I'll keep them in my hand. You know, it's the Princess Bride and the poison. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. I say either
I don't
fatal
know.
push or ponder.
I feel like it's. I'm going to name the push. They have Bayou, Underground Sea, Nethergoyf. So they have either the push or the force on top.
Well, we were missing there no matter what.
Yeah.
That's good for us, though. That's, like, honestly, for all sakes and purposes, that brainstorm was basically a whiff.
That means Show and Tell is an insane draw here.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh my god, bro. We are running hot in this league. Jesus. I guess they're just they're just
hand,
dead.
Yeah, so their hand is either is either Bayou Force or Bayou Push, and neither one matters with the Show and Tell. Yeah, they are F6 right now.
They're looking pretty dead.
Well, they're not F6, but they just let that resolve really fast.
Show and Tell putting in work. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just concede here, to be totally honest with you. Guess we draw again. There's no downside, really.
Yeah, we're pretty safe to just draw. There's the Smog, and there's another mana source, so we can therapy the Fatal Push if that's what's in their hand.
I say we go for. Oh wait, we can't therapy out of the yard. Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. We have a therapy in our hand.
Yeah, no, that
we
works.
have the mana to do that, and name Fatal Push. Is that what's in your hand? Yes.
Well, looks like we're gonna be 3-0.
3-0, 6-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty strong.
No.
All right.
Alrighty.
So, hey, guys, just like that, hey, we're 3-0 in the Legacy League, and we will see you guys for round 4. All right, guys, we are here for round 4. And what are we up against, Psy?
Looks like somebody with a love for tempo. We've got Is It Delver and an older listing for Teamer Cascade. Let's hope it's not Cascade. This list is basically dead in the water to Rhinos.
Ooh. So we have a turn 1 send it, but we're not protected or even have a land.
Yeah, this is a turn 1 send it, and then if we get our reanimate count, we'd have to top deck 2 lands to do anything else.
So let's just say for all,
and it's only.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's also an Atraxa. I would be way more into this if this was a Grizzlebrand.
I feel like
the fact that this is all in on an Atraxa is a little bit rough.
Well, it's all in on Atraxa, but off a reanimate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're on tempo and they don't have force, they're definitely dead to this hand. Like, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like my personal philosophy with these kind of hands is I generally don't mulligan them. In the blind, I generally send it.
Yeah.
There's definitely an argument to mulligan it. I find you lose more games by not sending it than you do by sending it.
Right, because we could mulligan to a hand of 6 that just has like 5 lands and 2 reanimates.
Yeah, or we could be playing against something like Moon Stompy or like another Chalice deck where we get absolutely punished for not just going on turn 1.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're sending.
I think I'm gonna go for it.
We're pitching the Shallow Grave, obviously, because we're discarding the Atraxa.
Yes. And we also have 2 Shallow Graves. We have one. We pitch the Shallow Grave. We'll have Shallow Grave animate dead and reanimate our hand.
Well, let's hope if they have force that they force our unmask and not our reanimate.
Yeah, if they force the unmask, I think we just don't even play the pedal and just pass. All right, let's see what happens. There's a long pause on the pedal.
There was.
We can't really wait though. If it's tempo, we just lose to days if we wait. All right, they have force of will. They pitch Auroral Procession. Return. It's a green-blue instant regrowth.
Huh. Honestly, I
Alright,
don't
so
know
our
what
opponent,
that tells us. That there's some kind of control deck? Maybe Teamer?
this isn't Rhinos because this is a 2-mana card. They could be on just something off the wall, some kind of brew or something.
I feel like it's still, I don't know. I feel like it's still correct to send it there. I don't really think that I'm
Yeah,
mulliganing
no.
that. Maybe we'll
Hedge
just go
maze.
like fetch land or something.
Yeah. Entomb, not a great draw.
Realistically, though, we
This
knew
also,
that. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, this could be like just some weird cards in Omni.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
They're like playing a rural procession to like get back cards that they discarded with intuition or something wacky like that. Shuffles their library. Tropical Island.
Oof.
More entombs. Well, we kind of signed up for losing the game if it didn't
Yeah.
work, so we're mostly just information gathering now.
They're looking like Omni.
Stock up.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Unfortunately,
fun thing
too,
is if they show and tell, we
our pivot is like not the best in this matchup. Ooh, Chromox.
Chromox is interesting. I think we're supposed to hold it still, maybe.
You think so? They do play Spell Pierce.
My only thinking is we might end up drawing Unmask over the course of however many draws until we get to do something.
That's fair. There is a small possibility if we Chromox, we could also Entomb, though, for our Animate Dead and get like Gristlebrand or something.
That's true.
I feel like they're probably going to force
We'll see
this
what happens.
anyway. Oh, no, they didn't. Weird. So that makes me feel like they don't have a counterspell because they saw us miss like several land drops. So they definitely would have countered that if they had one.
I think there's a good chance that we lose the game this turn. They probably found their combo pieces on stock up.
I agree.
There's also not an impossible chance that they're not Omni and they're just instead like a strange
Oh, they're definitely
like
Omni.
control deck playing stock up.
Like you said, though, I mean, we kept that hand knowing that if they had force, that we'd probably lose that game.
Oh, there's an Ancient Tomb.
Okay, well, we
Well,
want to Entomb here? No?
uh, that probably would have been a good idea. They have Omniscience. Let's see if they have like anything in their hand. We're dead. Although, if they don't have counter magic, there's a dark ritual. If they don't have counter magic and they just have Emrakul, there's a world where we can just like instant speed kill the Emrakul with Archon
I know, I was thinking that too.
and steal this game and steal this game somehow.
I mean, this would be a steal.
Uh,
We're probably dead, but there is like a 1% that maybe we're not dead here. Wait,
they're
what?
passing?
Wait, what? We end step the Entomb, right? Definitely. Wait, are they just dead? What the hell is going on, dude?
They have 4 cards in their hand.
Just get Gris? What is going on, man?
They says lol in the chat.
Dude, I'm so confused right now.
There's an Emmy in my hand? Why didn't you cast it?
Oh, well.
They
Sorry, opponent.
There's an Emmy in my hand.
We're playing for a trophy.
Zoned out. They said zoned out, thought it was your turn.
Oh my god. Alright, well, we gotta punish them now.
Alright, well, let's start with the Thoughtseize.
This
See
is
if we can confirm this Emmy in hand.
This is a totally warranted. Oh no. I think we can.
Alright, so I think we need to.
Yeah.
We got a Dark Rit and Shallow Grave in response to this.
Oh.
Okay, so we're still dead, unfortunately. Well, we're not just dead. Because we survived the Emrakul.
We're probably dead if they actually have the Emrakul. That was very unfortunate. So their hand was still busted, but they just baited us. Alright. I don't think we have any outs.
Yeah, we're dead here.
I guess make them show us the Emrakul.
It would have been hilarious to win this, but we did not deserve to. Yeah, okay.
So their hand was just Emrakul, Veil, Force of Will, and then Unknown. That's pretty good 4 cards, I guess, to have.
It is. And it may seem kind of funny to bring in Show and Tell in this matchup, but we do bring in Show and Tell in this matchup.
Okay.
They tend to go pretty hard on finding like Cage or something. They also don't often have too many, like their payoffs for the Show and Tell is 4 copies of Omniscience, 2 copies of Emrakul.
Makes sense.
Generally we don't care if they put an Emrakul into play, and we are trying to discard them before we go for the Show and Tell anyway.
That Veil was kind of brutal.
It seems. Yeah, the Veil sucked.
Okay,
this is an interesting hand.
I feel like this hand is insane. Right? This has multiple pieces of discard with Show and Tell Archon. It's definitely a keep. There's no way that you're ever mulling this, but probably just wait a few to keep it. There you go.
Yeah, it's a keep. The problem is the problem is wanting to discard before Veil comes out, and this is a tapped land.
Yeah, that is true.
That being said, we have the Thoughtseize still. We could surveil if we find like a dark ritual, we can still unmask. We could unmask on turn 1 and then Thoughtseize into Show and Tell. It doesn't feel good to just unmask on turn 1.
No, it doesn't. I almost feel like we can't. I feel like the play has to just be play Surveil land and then probably pass. I don't know. I personally feel like we kind of want Spoils and Thoughtseize. So I don't know, like, pitching either. I guess pitching Spoils isn't, like, the worst, but we also want to protect ourselves from a top deck foul, too. I don't know.
Yeah. It's gonna sting like a mother if we get our unmask veiled. That's the only problem.
Well, no matter what, next turn we're probably
Because
thought
Veil
seizing.
also means that the Archon isn't doing anything when it enters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless we surveil, we find a land, and then we could go for a show and tell.
We'll see what they do. They're already mulliganing. I want to just
Yeah.
surveil and see what's on top before we make any play here.
Yeah, if we surveil and see a Dark Ritual, then I think we absolutely unmask turn 1, because then we can Thought Seize into show and tell on turn 2.
Agree.
I think anything else besides Dark Ritual would probably hold. Don't need that. I also don't like showing them that, but I don't want to draw it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they have Veil, it sucks, obviously, but I think it actually is just correct to pass. Looks like they
Alright, well,
don't
they're
have Veil,
fetching.
at
That's good for
least.
us.
Cage? Okay.
Cage, perfect.
Dude, the one thing I love about this list, we're excited when our opponents lead on Cage. That shows the evolution of this deck.
Alright, well, I think we're just gonna Thought Seize here.
We want to play out the pedal in case they have a daze, like one or two of them.
Yeah, probably. Alright, what you cooking in that hand?
Oh, they have Force.
I think they're surgicaling the show and tells.
Wow, with hard punished.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Actually, it's actually not the end of the world, though, because we do have the spoils for the chain. So
yeah, we just need to find some mana.
Yeah, okay. So we're looking for a land, I guess. Damn. Yeah, they got us, I guess. Thankfully,
Yeah, the surveil show revealing show and tell was pretty brutal.
yeah, it's still correct to bin it, though.
So they can pick up land with this, or they can pick up surgical. I don't think we care about them picking up surgical. Picking up land gets them to 3. We're probably taking intuition here. I feel like
taking the regrowth is the pick, because even if we take the intuition, they could still just regrow it anyway. It just gives them more options, right?
possibly if they use this on the intuition, it's kind of a time walk, but
I also don't like the fact they can use it to get a land and then potentially, like, turn 3 show and tell us if they rip, like, an Omni or something.
yeah. Alright, well, let's grab that.
I like taking that.
And
Instant speed regrowth in this spot's actually kind of gross. The fact it gets back the surgical or a land.
they find a ponder.
Okay. See if they find a land.
They also know we have the Archon in this hand, so we're not going to have them like hunt and show and tell an Emmer.
They could Omni, though, and forget about the fact that the Archon is going to make them discard their only card in their hand. I've actually had people do that before.
That is a possibility. If we just hit some land drops, we're in a pretty decent place. Chooses not to shuffle. All right, scary. We just keep drawing Thought Seizes. Do we Thought Seize here? They chose not to shuffle. It's not impossible if they kept a Veil. We're also not really getting anywhere by just Thought Seizing every turn.
I think you just Thought Seize here. If they have the Veil, you have to get through it anyway.
Yeah.
It sucks, but... Oh. Okay, I don't think we take the Force.
No.
It's probably Intuition, maybe? I just feel like that card's really dangerous here.
It is. Let's grab the Intuition.
I mean,
And pass.
their show and tell looks scary, but they're literally like 8 cards away from killing us with it right now. They need land.
They
plus,
find another ponder.
right now they need land plus Omni plus kill you. So they're literally 3 cards away from killing us with the show and tell.
That is true.
Okay,
they find land, so their hand is force and show.
Ooh.
That is a fantastic draw. So
Options. We could just play the Witherbloom, but that seems bad. They probably force it, but
I'm
maybe
not, I'm not sure if it is. I feel like it might be unmask them, pitching the Archon, play the Witherbloom, and hold up mana for spoils. We take the force, we give them the 1 card on top of their deck to kill us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you just unmask, pitch Archon, take Force of Will. Show and tell has to be
because they
like Atraxa.
There's not. Yeah, it'd have to be Atraxa into like some serious business.
Yeah, no, I like this line. This is a good line.
Now we just gotta hope that my my spoils luck doesn't run into this video.
Nah, you're fine, man. How many cards are in your deck right now?
47.
And we have 15 cards we can draw. So you're probably around 70%. Maybe 75.
So they didn't shuffle this ponder.
Oof.
So they're brainstorming here.
Let's think. So
I think we let the brainstorm resolve.
They're gonna have 2 cards.
Because I think I'd rather them force the spoils than the chain. So I'm not worried about this resolving.
So what card are we?
And then we have a live top deck.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That was such a good draw by them. That was like by far the best.
Yeah,
actually,
brainstorm.
Yeah, actually, they knew it was on top, right? They didn't fetch.
Yeah, they left it there. The thing is, though, even if they keep force blue card and we spoils and then chain, and they go to empty-handed, we're still in a good spot.
Just beating
because they're going to be at 15. Yeah, they're going to be at 17, 16 from the spoils, 15 from the chain, 14 from the force, on a 7-turn clock from the Witherbloom with 0 hand. I don't hate our opposition.
I agree. If they found force, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, we'd hope they didn't find it, but...
Now the question is, do we spoils on end step, or do we take a draw step? I think we can take the draw step in case we just naturally draw chain.
Yeah, we want to take the draw step anyway, so we can go 1 card farther down our deck. See what I mean?
Another spoils.
Yeah, now I guess we just spoils here.
Well, let's go for it.
Okay.
Chain of Smog. Let's go gambling. All right.
Found it.
Do we win the game, opponent? They force it without making us discard, which is kind of huge.
Did we exile any other copies?
That wouldn't happen. We would pick up the card before it got exiled.
They pitched a Cunning Wish, which means that probably Show and Tell is on top of their deck.
Well, ready to go again? Should we even do it, is the question.
I think the likelihood of them getting there in 5 turns is, like, pretty high, personally. We know that they have Show and Tell in their hand, most likely, because they didn't fetch.
We have 3 copies and 40 cards, though.
I mean, the only issue, I guess, here is if they found Atraxa, it's just, like, a disaster right now. 3 copies and how many?
40 cards.
I think the likelihood of us finding it on a draw 13 is like pretty high. I would send it. I mean, how are you? Like, is waiting doing us? Yeah.
Waiting means we might naturally draw it without taking the risk, is the only thing.
Yeah, but if that were the case, it would have to be a lot of turns, because this is 13 turns into the future, right?
They said bravo.
All right.
Don't bravo me yet. I might die.
Nah, you're good, man. Don't worry.
Chain of Smog.
Boom.
Woo! All right. We live to play game. We live to play game 3.
It would have been cool if he just conceded there.
Opponent said, "Oh right, forgot how the cards work."
This is the part where he just like has dismember and he's like GG.
Honestly, you know, at that point he wanted it more.
True.
We're kind of his opponent typing. I had to stack show and tell into a Traxxas so I could force last turn. Needed you to whiff once, so he did have a Trax on top.
Oh, I told you. What did I tell you? I'm like, I knew he had a Trax on top of his deck. You were gonna wait. I was like, no. Send it. Always send it. Needed you to whiff once. Well, never,
All right.
never whiffing. No, don't type that to him. But all right. Okay. I was gonna see if we wanted any adjustments, but yeah, I mean, we're definitely keeping this, but you'd probably just wait a few. Like, I mean, we're never mulliganing this, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they already kept their 7, so... Oh gosh, is this just gonna be turn 1?
Wow.
Oh geez! That's the turn 1 show and tell. I think we might be dead. Well, I'm gonna put this Archon in.
Yeah, I mean, just gotta do what you gotta do. Hopefully they have a Traxa. They do not. Well, I guess we're dead. That's so unfortunate, man.
And they had the Veil.
What a cracked hand that they had. I guess there was really nothing we're gonna do against this hand, huh? Sheesh.
Yeah,
well, they shuffled.
That's how it goes sometimes. They rebuy their Ponder.
I mean,
Ponder again.
I mean, we're probably not favored from this spot at all, but they did not shuffle.
Yeah, declined to use Ponder's ability.
Got lucky.
What's the long pause?
Yeah, we're dead.
Well, we gave it our best shot.
I mean, dude, what the hell opener was that?
Look, I was gonna say GG's, but he hit me with the early GG.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we are 3-1 in the Legacy League. We are going to see you for the last match. All right, we are here for the last match. What is opponent playing today?
Our cursory research says we've got goblins, we've got oops all spells, we've got Thought Lash combo. Opponent likes a lot of different things.
So we're sending it?
Well, we're on the draw, so we're gonna see if we die on turn 1. But we are gonna keep this. Show me goblins.
Oh. Dark Ritual.
Uh-oh. Dark Ritual. Baragoyf?
Oh, okay. This could go really good
no.
for us.
Or really poorly. They could have Reanimate as their last... or not as their last card, but with their 1 mana.
They could. I don't know
All
what
right.
we're rooting to discard here.
I mean,
it could have been worse.
that's fine as long as they don't reanimate the Grizzlebrand.
Oh.
No, not the Nile Spellbomb. All right, let's just draw Reanimate off the top.
Are they gonna just fire it off now? No. Guess we're just surveilling?
Yeah, I think we need to look for Reanimate.
Okay, that works
Or
too,
Entomb actually works too.
Yeah.
Let's see if our hand stays intact for one more turn.
Hopefully they just go like... I don't even know. Cecile? This is definitely a matchup that we want to win the die roll. Okay.
Okay, now this is fine. Nethergoyf is fine. Wasteland Me is fine. We are so okay with this. We're gonna beat the turn one.
Yeah,
Dark Ritual, Hymn into Nile Spell.
Now it doesn't matter what they do, because even if they spell bomb us with the ritual, then we still get to kill them anyway. So they're just dead here.
This is going to be a nice showcase of the power of Shallow Grave.
Let's see if they are... I mean, it actually is correct probably to fire... Oh, they did not.
Wouldst thou like to spellbomb me, opponent?
I mean, they have to... Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why they were waiting. Okay. Here we go. I'd like to make one Grizzlebrand, please.
Ooh, a Lotus Petal. That's great.
Have we
See if
made
we
a
can
land
find
drop yet?
another Dark Rich Shallow Grave. We have, but we found a Shallow Grave and an Unmask and 2 petals, and we have a Borb in our hand, so we have the win.
How much damage is that? 14, 17. I mean, if they chump... Hold on.
No, we still have another draw 7, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Get rid of... Doesn't matter, therapy.
Okay. They've had enough.
All right.
I think full pivot here, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're full pivoting here. Turn 1, beating the game 1 spellbomb always feels nice, and it's every time I think about not registering the card Shallow Grave, every time I think about playing World Dragon, I remember like that.
The good thing too is if that were also Exhume in that spot, you would have also won.
That's true. So, the usual suspects. We're trimming Borb because we're not running Shallow Graves. So, Borb, Animate Dead, Shallow Grave, Entomb, and 2 Reanimates.
I love it.
All right, let's finish the league strong.
All right, deck, treat us well.
All right, opponent, mulligan to 3 for a ley line. These like mono black hate bear lists are always kind of tricky though. Like if somebody's willing to register him to Turok in the year of our, there's no, so you kind of have to keep an eye out for it.
Oh, 100%.
They could opposition agent us. They could. There could be anything. They could be playing Pox. It's probably just like the mono black aggro list that I've seen popping up here and there.
Ooh, this hand.
Oh, this hand's
nuts.
crazy.
All right, definitely wait for a while.
There's such a low % chance that our hand remains. But you don't mulligan this.
Turn 1 Spellbomb pass into Deceased.
All right. They kept 7.
All right, actually, there's no reason to think about here because they're on the play, right?
They kept their hand already. Bloodstained Mire and
Ooh.
pass.
Okay. So I think we're just sending it, right?
Yeah. The only tricky thing is
If they have Bowmaster.
I'm feeling like they're holding up a Dark Ritual for Bowmasters or Oppo.
Well, regardless.
I want to play around Oppo.
Yeah, so regardless if they have Bowmaster, they can put it in off the show and tell, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we can risk going for the 2 of Atraxa.
Yeah, we didn't come around. We didn't come here to mess around. So let's just hope this Spoils the Vault is good to us.
Top card?
Gristlebrand somewhere in our top 5 cards.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's
pretty good.
That was being very kind. I guess we fire off the ritual. Right. If they have Bowmaster, worst case scenario, I guess we could still possibly draw 7 if we wanted to.
That's true.
And we're already at the point of no return against Mindbreak Trap if they had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Orcish Bowmasters, no. Don't show me an Orcish Bowmasters, please. They're thinking. Dothy Woodwalker, alright.
Fine with that one.
Well, they could still have Bowmasters, but I think we're supposed to draw.
Yeah, definitely.
At least we don't die if they have it. Okay. Oh, alright.
We already played a land.
We did.
Drawing here is, I think, out of the question, right? Because we're literally just
so.
dead
I think
to
it might
the
just
Voidwalker. It's just Thoughtseize.
It might just be Thoughtseize pass.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think it even actually is, now that I'm thinking about it, even really a question here.
Alright, so they have another Dothy. They only have the 1 land, so I guess they're planning to surveil to find another land.
I guess we have to be aware of the Dothy ability, being able to play whatever they grab. But I don't really think, like, if they hem us, like, they can't really take anything too strong.
Yeah.
It's either him or Surgical. I just don't know which one of those 2 cards you'd rather not play against. Probably just Surgical, right? They can't even cast the him right now.
Yeah, I feel like there's more room for shenanigans if we leave them with the Surgical.
Yeah, I like that. I like just taking Surgical here. Wow, we're lucky they didn't have the Bowmaster, huh?
Yeah, that was very lucky. And we're not out of the woods yet on the game. But we have Witherbloom and we have Chansmog in our hand. If they hem us, there's nothing that's going to kill us.
I would say we're pretty favored from this spot. Highly favored.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they conceded.
All right. Hey.
Didn't like what they saw on top.
So, after the league.
There's our 4-1 league.
There we go. And how do we feel about how the deck performed? How do you feel?
Well, I think the results speak for themselves. We've got 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and we lost 1-2 to a matchup where we really didn't have any agency in the I think we played well. I think we did what we were supposed to do.
right? And they kind of,
So altogether, I think the league. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and they kind of just nut drew you pretty hard in game 3, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I meant about not having any agency in that game. And yeah, this has been a good showing. I've felt like this list has been really strong for me recently. I got 12th in the Legacy Showcase. I finished 7-2 and got 12 running this exact list. I'm currently 5-0, about to play the finals in a ELM qualifier, running this exact list. I don't have any complaints about it. This is, if I was going to play a big tournament, this is what I register.
You've been 100% crushing, man, and it was really good to finally see the deck in action. And show and tell, I'm not gonna lie to you, looked unreal in this league. It must have won us at least 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty accurate number.
Or 4 or 5. But,
Yeah.
but either
I appreciate
way,
you having me on your video and letting me showcase it.
yeah, man, definitely. We'll have to do some more videos in the future too. I'm sure all of the viewers are gonna want to see both of us team up again.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys, and with that, we will see you next time. Hope you really enjoyed the league.